Wow, that happened fast. We were doing a live stream about the women's basketball team getting a $2.5 million gift. And in the midst of all that, in the midst of the 30 minutes that I planned for that show, we get the breaking news that UConn can join by 2026, football by 31. Let's dive straight into this. Let's go to, there's a ton of tweets on it, but the first one I saw was from Brandon Marcello. So let's get on to that. Big 12 presidents will discuss a proposal next week about adding UConn. A person familiar with the process tells CBS Sports/247 Sports. Basketball and Olympic sports would join ASAP. Football would not join until 31 as it places more resources into the program to become a Power 4 team. My head's spinning. Not even sure what to think about all this shit. Because I thought we were kind of past the point of basketball only, I did. I really did. Utah Utes, if the Huskies are in the Big 12 for football, then there will be no Big 12 football as it currently is in the future. Brett's plans are to maximize the short term before the conference gets dismantled, in my opinion. It's not a bad take. I just like the idea. It says Mantakaskar. I want Pitt and Virginia Tech. I'd actually be pissed if I were UCF. Interesting. Dellinger, McMurphy are also reporting it. Let's go to Ross Dellinger. Okay. Oh, what am I doing? Scotty B, the Baylor King. All right. Why is this not? Oh, because I'm looking inside somebody else's tweets. Let's go home. There we go. And then look at Ross Dellinger. What am I doing wrong here? Sorry, guys. There it is. I don't know why it didn't. Maybe I spelled it with an I. All right. So UConn officials visited in person with Big 12 ADs in Dallas last week as the school and conference remain in serious expansion negotiations. Sources tell at Yahoo Sports. UConn would join in all sports, but football would have a runway before full membership in 2031. Leaders are planning to present the league presidents next week a similar expansion presentation related to UConn that the athletic director saw last week. The Athletic first reported about next week's meeting. Interesting, man. Huh. This is wild. Let's see. Let's see if Murphy has any extra details. Brett McMurphy. All right. Big 12 UConn in discussions for the Huskies to join the Big 12 in football in 2031 and all other sports in 26. Sources told Action Network Big 12 presidents must approve. But Commissioner Brett Yormark has been a long-time proponent of the Huskies. Sources said, yeah, that's because he's from that part of the country. This is tough for me because we're football first. I think, this is a basketball channel. But we're football first. It's what drives the bus. It's what makes you relevant as universities. It's what makes our state more relevant. And UConn is, while I think they could be a good football ad, a lot of people don't feel like that. I feel like UConn could be a good football ad because of the way they were when we played them in the mid 2000s. We played several ranked UConn teams during those years. I remember the 66-21 game we beat them right before Pitt. That was a 21st ranked UConn team. They had some pretty good teams under Ratty Edsel, but that's 2031. That's down the road. I get it. I'm just trying to get that, there's a win, because of how good they are in basketball. I think they could do something similar to what Kansas has done. Um, because that just makes them so relevant because they're so dominant in basketball. At the end of the day, by bringing in UConn, you solidify yourself. This is just me thinking on the fly. You're preparing for a future without Kansas, right? It feels like this may be a preemptive move for if we lose Kansas, because we all know there's been some heavy Kansas to the Big Ten talk, right? That basketball brand that Kansas has is the best in college basketball, at least top 2, top 3. So I guess the question I'm asking is this a preemptive move just in case that happens? And if it doesn't happen, then you solidify the Big 12 as the no chance any other conferences, no other conferences, they don't have a chance to become the best basketball conference, then we will remain that. Even though we are now with what we have, even if you lose Kansas, you can still probably tout that. So a lot of moving parts to why I think Yormark would want to do this. But, well, I mean, yeah, but how many things have happened, Curtis, that we didn't see? Like at this point, if I don't see something coming, doesn't mean it's not going to happen anymore. Like I'm open to any and all things can happen. I don't write anything off these days. So JDK says we need more East Coast teams in the Big 12, 24 teams, 12 in each division. They're giving them a chance to get it together. I guess that's really a runway of 2031. It is. And yeah, pretty much. What's up, BPA 1985? UConn football should join sooner than 31 unless they're willing to give up a lot of their media rights money. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it takes that long to get your program together unless they're talking about from a facility standpoint. Because you got to think, guys, when UConn was able to be a ranked team in the Big East years when we were making $7 million a year. Wasn't that what we were making, or $6 million? I mean, abysmal money, And they were contending. Randy Edsel had that program moving in the right direction. If I were UConn, I don't know where Edsel is right now. Sorry, I meant to turn my phone off. And I got to read the sponsor for the channel as well here before too much longer. But if I were UConn, I would bring Edsel back in as an advisor and then hire somebody, unless they believe in who's there now. And I can't even know who's the UConn football coach. Oh, Jim Mora. He's probably not your guy. Just saying, but let's see where Randy Edsel is. I mean, he's older now too, but let's see, he's 65. Looks like he's retired. Yeah, he's retired. He hasn't coached since 21 with UConn. I feel like Randy Edsel is important to that program. He's most definitely the best coach they've ever had. And if I am going to hire somebody, I bring in Randy Edsel to just be around, because Randy Edsel was around for some really good runs there. Look at some of the runs they had under Edsel. So from 99 to 2010 especially, some of those years, man, he did really well. Let's see. 07, let's see. Okay, the 07 season witnessed a new level of excitement in stores as the Huskies earned their first ever national rankings, peaking at number 13 in the BCS standings on number 5th. UConn became just the second Big East team to ever go 7-0 at home and defeated 3 teams which were ranked in the top 10 at some point during the season. That year, they also beat for their first ranked opponent in school history by beating South Florida, number 11, on October 7, 2007, 22-15, and they finished 9-4 that year. The next year, they started 5-0 and finished 8-5 in 2009. They were 8-5, 2010. They were, good Lord, they beat Texas Southern 62-3. Good God. Um, Another winning after a 3-4 start. The first win over West Virginia in history in 2010. I remember that. uh, oh, yeah, they actually went to the BCS that year in the Fiesta Bowl in 2010. So, and then he went to Maryland and ruined it, right? But point is, I don't want to go on. We don't need to hear the history of Maryland football, but Randy Edsall was there when Connecticut was legit, right? 2010. That's not long ago. That's the last time we were good, right? Like, if we're being honest, 2 years after that is the last time we were really anything that we're proud of around here, right? Like, we've had some pretty good years since 2012. But if we're being honest, as West Virginia fans, we're not very proud of the last 10 to 12 years. Raise your hand in the class. Anybody proud of the last 10 or 12 years at West Virginia football? I'm not. And then so there's that. But so point being, Randy Edsall is, I think, I would bring him back around and then hire somebody young and upcoming. I don't know who that is. Maybe we can go get Dana Holgerson to go over there to UConn. That'd be an interesting hire for them. No, but seriously. So on the basketball side, it's a no-brainer. It's like, do you want Alabama? Because that's what they are in basketball, right? So I mean, I'm all for UConn in basketball. It's just when you go down the road of basketball only for people, which it's not only, it's almost like they're adding the 2031. I mean, that doesn't have to happen, right? Just because you say it's in 2031 doesn't mean it's going to happen in 2031 or at all. It's almost like they're saying that just so people can't bitch and say the last time we started doing basketball only, we lost our votes and the conference disbanded. That's kind of what this feels like to me. So the fear with this move would be you give a team or a program with no stake in football a vote in the conference. And that's, while it may be only one, there are still other programs in this conference that would favor basketball over football. I would imagine. I would love to ask a Baylor fan where they're at with it, because you've shown that you can win natties in basketball, right? I wonder if Baylor people are basketball only. I wonder. We know at Texas Tech it's pretty 50-50, although football now probably wins out. Although, I don't know. It's probably pretty close to 50-50 at Texas Tech. If you look at basketball, football split at Kansas, we know what it is, right? It's basketball school. Although recently their football has come alive in a way that, I'm sure all these Kansas basketball fans that have rooted for other teams their whole life probably are now football fans and act like they've been around forever. Who else? Utah is definitely a football program. Colorado is definitely a football program. Arizona is a basketball program. Arizona State's a basketball program, in my opinion. They do care about football there, I feel like, but I feel like they're more of a basketball program. Houston, basketball program. Do you get what I'm trying to say here? K-State's a football program, Daniel, no doubt about it. Just my opinion. Their fans are just as rabid as ours in football. You could say they're like us. They're more both. They're not. They're really not either. They're more for both, like we are. Like, there are times when I feel like our basketball program has probably been a little bit more supported. Certainly during the Neil Brown era, but even under Jerome Tang and Bruce Weber, yeah, because of Bill Snyder. I mean, it's like he's still their most recognizable coach, in my opinion. So, but so who else are we looking at here? Let me. Okay, so BYU is a football school. I think it's fair to say. UCF is a football school. It's fair to say. TCU is football. Cincinnati's basketball, in my opinion, although they have been football. Iowa State's interesting. I feel like they could be either. They're one of the both, in my opinion. I think they really care about football there. But I mean, they're better in basketball. Like it's not even close. Oklahoma State, they've got so much tradition with Barry Sanders and all that. I think you have to give them the football nod. But just going down the list, I'm trying to get a sense of if just giving one more vote may not seem like a big deal, right? And I don't know the ins and out of this. I don't even know if they get a full vote. I'm just speculating here. If you bring in a UConn, you give them a vote. They're basketball only. That's Arizona. That's Kansas. That's Arizona State. That's Houston. That's Baylor, Cincinnati. 7 teams that I can think of that would probably lean towards basketball over football, right? And so you start to worry about the future of the conference a little bit, right? Because we saw what happened to the Big East. You give all these teams the basketball that were basketball only or more basketball at the time votes, and all of a sudden your football programs are like, what the fuck? Heck. Got to watch my mouth. What the heck? Curious what you guys think about that. And then Oregon State and Washington State. It's a good question. Are they back in play if the ACC doesn't fall apart? We're just going to spread ourselves to each coast, aren't we? Like at some point, we've got to be central to somewhere. I just feel like, spreading from both, I don't know. Like, it's not good for us, I can tell you that. I mean, I'd rather go to stores than to Tempe, but it's, I'm sure the people in Tempe don't want to do that, Does Colorado want to go to stores and play a basketball game? Yeah, I don't think so, but who knows, man. BPA says the Western teams probably won't want UConn. Long travel, and then football isn't there, so they won't want to give up money to them. Interesting. Kansas won't want them, that's for sure. You think so? Missed the Big East. Super competition down soon. I miss the Big East from a rivalry standpoint. I don't miss the Big East. Like, the money we made sucked. The officials sucked, in my opinion, there on the football side. They just weren't any good. We never got credit for anybody we ever beat there. It's similar to the Big 12, but, if you're going to take a chance on somebody, if you had the choice in South Florida in football or UConn in basketball, who are you taking then? Or who would you rather have than UConn right now if it's a basketball only, right? Like they're the ad. Gonzaga doesn't come close to their revenue. Like it's not even close. Like UConn is probably top 5 anyway in revenue in basketball. I'm sure I could look that up. Obviously, North Carolina is going to be number 1. All right. So, Kansas, Duke, Louisville, Georgetown, Syracuse. Well, let's see. North Carolina, Illinois, Kentucky, Michigan State. Those are all the top 10. Baylor, Marquette, Texas, Ohio State, Florida, Gonzaga, Purdue. Did I miss UConn somewhere? Or did This has got to be including. Yeah, there's Indiana. There's UConn. Okay. Yeah, anyways, I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, I'm just looking on a random website. Here we go. Let's see. Let me look at that. It's hard for me to tell. I'm guessing, though, UConn's got to be pretty high up there. I mean, just if I had to guess. Hey, Scotty B, I'm glad you're in here. So, hey, Scotty B, is Baylor a football or basketball school? Take your opinion out of this and speak for the fan base if you think you can. Because I don't know the answer to that question because you guys have had so much success in basketball. I would really want to know, my fear with this is is UConn going to get a full vote? Because we're bordering on a lot of basketball teams in this conference, even with one more vote. Does Baylor, if you guys had to cut one of the programs, which one would it be? Because okay, that's what I thought. He said, I believe the fan base would say basketball school. I think so too. And the reason I say that is because obviously West Virginia is a football school. Utah is a football school. What do you think? Because you're over there. What about Texas Tech? We know TCU is a football school. Texas Tech is similar to you guys. I feel like you care about both. Yeah, football has been good at Baylor, but no doubt about it. Obviously, right now you're more of a basketball school, but when the football team is good, go back to 2010 RG3. Do you think it would still be basketball? If you guys were good in football again? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, if you give UConn a vote, right? I don't know how this is going to work. Maybe they only get half a vote. But you put yourself in a weird spot if you got too many basketball-only schools or schools that play both but lean basketball. Because obviously we care about the football side just a bit more. I don't know. I just worry about it. A little bit more football than basketball, Scotty. Okay, what about Houston is basketball? I had the list pulled up here. Listen to this list, though. And I'll jump off the topic after that. Everybody's probably already tired of me talking about this, but okay, Arizona is a basketball. I mean, they're basketball. Arizona State, I feel like, is basketball. They're a little more football than they're more basketball than football, in my opinion, but they do like football there. Baylor basketball, BYU's football, Central Florida's football, Cincinnati's basketball, Colorado is football, Houston's basketball. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3 in Cincinnati, Houston's 4, Iowa State's another one. Got to be basketball, 5. Kansas is 6. I feel like K-State's football, but maybe they're basketball. I don't know. I'd love to ask John that. So you're right. You're right in there in that 6 to 7 range. Teams that would probably lean basketball. You added you're at the point now where look. This conference, I mean, that's almost half the teams in the conference, So it's just something to think about. If you give UConn a vote, what happens? What happens if it comes down to it? The Big East could happen all over again. We don't ever want to go through that again, because what happens in that scenario, teams get left out, hang out to dry. If you guys didn't throw us a lifeline when that happened in the Big 12, I often wonder what happened to West Virginia had the Big East not thrown us a lifeline. I mean the Big 12. I really do, because our football program was as strong as you could get at the time. I mean, when the Big East fell apart, we were on the same level as probably where you'd have to say we're at least right there with like where Utah is now, probably a little better, or like in that vicinity. Like we had won 3 BCS bowl games in the last uh, since '05. At that time, we had been one game away from the national championship at one point, which was wild. So obviously, our football brand, we had just beat Clemson 70-33 in the Orange Bowl, and yet we had to just almost not. We almost didn't make it, because Missouri slid at the last minute, got our SEC spot. I'll never get over that. We could have been in the SEC this whole time, but we didn't make it because Missouri did. ESPN, thank them for it. It just depends, though. If Arizona sucks at basketball for a few years and do great in football, then they're a football school. It's pretty subjective. I just don't. I disagree with that, Luke. Personally, Arizona's in the same bracket as North Carolina and Duke. To me, like to flip that, it takes a long time and a lot. Arizona's never going to be bad that long. They've got too many. What happens is, and it's just my opinion, Luke. When you're really good at a sport for a long time, you build up a lot of cachet as far as donors and ex-former athletes that maybe play pro or have a lot of pull. Arizona's got so many pro players that have gone to the league or coach now that it's insane, right? And so whether it's Mike Bibby or Jason Kidd, like all those guys factor into why Arizona is a big, huge basketball school. Yeah, they have a good football team this year, but basketball is number one there. It's not even close, to me. I mean, they could turn into a both, I think, but I still think basketball will always be number one, at Arizona. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. No matter how good football becomes, there'll be always basketball first. It's just like Kentucky, right? Like their football has gotten a lot better over the last few years with Stoops. Like they're respectable now, top 25 almost every year. But it's not a question. If they had to cut one or the other, they're lopping that football arm right off, and they could be kicked out of the SEC or anything, and they would still do that. I feel like it's that because it's in their blood there. It'd be like asking me the West Virginia basketball can win a national championship, and then you ask me the next day which program I'm keeping. It's West Virginia football. It's not close. The closest I've ever been to it being 50-50 was when Huggins was there, in the final 4 years. But even then, like I never really couldn't fall. I love basketball and football equally. But when it comes to West Virginia, I'm always going to be football. I feel like that you have the biggest opportunity to represent the state in football aspect. And I also feel like I don't know. There's just so much history with it as far as how you know, we've been on the mountaintop so many times and not been able to succeed, and just everything that goes into it, and just the way we're looked at, the whole thing. Yes, exactly, Luke. I think we are both, but I do think football still is. It's still more for football. You know, UConn has a long way to go. They only won 3 games last year. They're going to have to throw some money at the program, or it won't work. I do agree with that, Curtis. You're talking about football for it to possibly work. That's the thing about this. Yeah, we'll get to it in 2031 thing is like, okay, yeah, we may get to it in 2031, but what if we don't? Then we just have a basketball only member, like I don't know. It's just like I mean, there's a lot that can go wrong with like get your football program together, and then we'll talk about it. Like there's no guarantee that actually happens. It's very crazy to me. It means too much, buddy. So this is pretty crazy news, guys. I appreciate you for joining in. If you don't care, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and drop a comment below. Let me know how you feel about all this news. By the way, while I've got you here, I'm going to go. If you want 2 free Penn State tickets, here's what I need you to do. I need you to do 4 things, okay? If you look on the bottom of the screen, at Paul Mountaineer is my X name, okay? And it looks like 37 of you are listening by way of X as we speak. So this is good. If you want 2 free tickets to the Penn State game, here's what you do. I'm going to go to my page really quick. Share it. Yeah, I'm sharing it. Okay. I put something out earlier. Let's see. Where is it? Just give that a little retweet. Okay. Here it is. Okay. If you go down to here where it says, holy cow, 2 free Penn State tickets, click the link below to find out how it's free. All you do is you're going to click this link. It's going to take you to Magic Shine Auto Spa, channel sponsor, right? You know how good Sean is. Sean's a great guy. So click on this, and then you have to follow these directions. Let me share the screen one more time. Okay. West Virginia versus Penn State ticket giveaway. Magic Shine Auto Spa is giving you the chance to win 2 lower level tickets to the West Virginia versus Penn State game on August 31st. These seats are located around the 40-yard line, giving you an incredible view of the action. How to enter: like this post, share this post with your friends, and follow Magic Shine Auto Spa on Facebook. It's that simple. One lucky winner will be chosen on Thursday, August 29th. Don't miss out on the opportunity to support the Mountaineers in style. Good luck and let's go Mountaineers. Disclaimer: to be eligible to give for the giveaway, you must share the original post from our Magic Shine Auto Spa page. That's this page right here. And be following Magic Shine Auto Spa on Facebook and meet all 3 conditions. Failure to meet any of these requirements will result in a new winner being picked. So all you got to do is like the post, share the post, and follow Magic Shine on Facebook. You can find that on my X page right here at Paul Mountaineer. So it's a heck of a deal, y'all, and Sean is 1,000% good for it. The tickets are expensive too, I mean, they really are. So, I mean, listen, I've got my ticket, by the way, and it's literally field level, guys. And I got mine from Sean, and they are the best. Like, I'm talking like your field level. Like, these are the best tickets you could possibly get. These are $400 tickets. So, like, get 2 of them, that's almost $1,000. All you got to do is those 3 things, I mean, come on. It's that quick. All you do is click my link, follow, like, and share. I mean, it's so easy to do, So, and Sean is a computer whiz, by the way, so he can fact check all of it. He'll know. So he'll know if you actually did it or not. So be sure to do it if you're going to do it. All right. Also, like to thank Magic Shine Auto Spa for being the sponsor of this video. They do a great job over there. Got to go. Keep up the solid work, Paul. Longtime subscriber to both channels. Don't normally type much on your stuff, but steady listener. Love the WV fan base and your coverage. Love. coverage of it. But thank you, man. Appreciate that, Luke. Really do, man. All right, guys. So we reacted to this. Appreciate you guys for joining in. UConn could be a basketball league member as soon as next week, which is wild. So keep coming back, guys. We'll talk about it again if more news comes out. But until then, I'm going to bounce out for tonight. Have a good evening, and I'm out.